Chaos outside a United Nations school in northern Gaza Tuesday, where UN officials say at least 30 civilians were killed and dozens more wounded when artillery shells landed at the site. According to the UN, hundreds of people had taken refuge at the school to escape the fighting between Israel and Hamas. A top UN official in Gaza says 3 UN schools have been hit by the Israelis in the last 24 hours.
We have the tragedy of the deaths last night in one of our schools where people had come fleeing the conflict, hoping for safety, and now they're dead.
The Israeli army says its soldiers came under fire from militants hiding in the school Tuesday, an account residents in the area confirm. And Israel accuses Gaza's Hamas rulers of cynically using civilians as human shields.
We try to avoid any kind of civil casualties. Unfortunately, during a battle, during a war, there are also injuries and losses of civilians.
The attack occurred at mid-afternoon, a time when many of the refugees had apparently stepped outside the shelter, thinking the area was safe. An Associated Press photographer at the scene said many children were among the dead, and the UN humanitarian coordinator for the Palestinian territories is demanding an investigation. Meanwhile, the UN is reporting that half a dozen Palestinian medical workers have been killed amid a worsening humanitarian crisis. And a British ambulance volunteer said an Israeli airstrike that landed close to where several ambulances were parked seriously injured a volunteer ambulance driver.
This is the ambulance that was worst hit by the F-16 strike on the house that we were all parked next to. The driver was the worst affected. He had glass and shrapnel wounds to his face and his ear and lacerations.
UN food aid has come to a halt in the northern Gaza Strip because officials fear residents would risk their lives to reach distribution centers. Late Tuesday, Israel agreed to set up a humanitarian corridor to ship vital supplies into the Gaza Strip as the presidents of Egypt and France proposed a plan to end the escalating conflict between Israel and Hamas. Mike Gracia, The Associated Press.